Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into something pretty significant that just came out of the entertainment world. It actually shines a light on a health issue lots of people face, a really pervasive one. We're focusing specifically on Justin Timberlake. He just publicly shared that he has Lyme disease.
Right. Lyme disease is the bacterial infection you get from ticks.
Exactly. So our mission today really is to unpack the details of what he revealed. We want to understand Lyme disease a bit better, at least as described in our main source, and maybe most importantly, connect the dots between someone's private health struggle and how the public sees them, especially when it comes to performance. And all of this is based on a CBS News report from just yesterday, July 31st, 2025. You might think you know the story, but I think we'll uncover some surprising insights today, especially about those unseen battles public figures often face. Okay, so let's set the scene. It was Thursday, July 31st, yesterday. Justin Timberlake posts on Instagram right after finishing this huge 2-year tour.
Quite the timing.
Yeah, and his words were pretty strong. He called the illness relentlessly debilitating. Said it affected him both mentally and physically. He even mentioned being shocked when he first got the diagnosis.
And while the source doesn't say exactly when he was diagnosed, revealing it right after the tour finished, that's significant. It gives us a whole new context for looking back at his recent performances.
Okay, let's unpack his experience more. Timberlake really described what he went through while performing. He talked about a massive amount of nerve pain.
Oof.
Yeah, just feeling crazy fatigue or sickness right there on stage. I mean, pushing through that kind of physical stuff. What does that tell us about the pressure performers are under?
Oh, it's immense. It's a really stark reminder of the hidden toll these illnesses can take, especially when you're constantly in the public eye. And what's interesting is how his description lines up with the medical picture.
From the CDC.
Exactly. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. They list early Lyme symptoms like headache, fatigue, muscle aches, joint aches or stiffness, chills, fever, swollen lymph nodes. It's a pretty classic picture.
So his experience wasn't unusual for Lyme.
Not at all, medically speaking, even if the audience had no idea why he might be struggling. And the CDC is really clear on this. You need that early diagnosis and the right antibiotics. It's vital to stop the illness from getting worse.
Right, which really highlights how serious this can be if it's not caught. Okay, so he's dealing with all this physical stuff. And then there's this next part, which I found really fascinating. He talked about wrestling with the decision, should he continue the tour after the diagnosis?
That must have been a tough call.
Definitely. But he said he decided, quote, "The joy that performing brings me far outweighs the fleeting stress my body was feeling." And he added he was so glad I kept going. What does that choice signal to you?
Well, it signals incredible dedication, I think. But it's even more compelling when you put it against the backdrop of the public conversation at the time.
You mean the online criticism?
Exactly. This revelation lands right after a period where people online were criticizing his performances, calling them lackluster. There were clips on social media, showing him taking long breaks, letting the audience sing a lot.
Yeah, I remember seeing some of that.
So what's really fascinating here is how this flips the script on those observations. We see something public, we interpret it, but we often don't have the full picture, the private struggle.
Right.
And Timberlake actually said his reason for sharing now was to shed some light on what I've been up against behind the scenes.
To be more transparent.
Yes, and specifically so his struggles aren't misinterpreted. It really makes you question how we judge public figures, doesn't it? Especially when there might be an invisible illness involved. We make assumptions based on limited information.
It completely changes the context, yeah. And as you mentioned, he's not the only celebrity who's dealt with Lyme disease publicly.
No, not at all. The source actually points this out. Bella Hadid, the Tippa model, she talked in 2023 about recovering from her long battle with it.
I remember that.
And Justin Bieber shared his diagnosis back in 2020.
So there's a pattern here.
There seems to be. You see these public struggles, maybe some criticism or confusion, and then later comes the revelation that provides the missing piece. And these disclosures, they do a lot. They definitely raise awareness about Lyme disease itself.
Which is important.
Absolutely. But maybe more than that, they keep reminding us that, being famous doesn't make you immune to serious health challenges that are often hidden from view.
So, wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway here, this deep dive into Justin Timberlake's Lyme disease news based on that CBS report? It feels like a really potent reminder that what we see isn't always the full story. These invisible health battles can affect anyone.
Absolutely. It really drives home the importance of understanding complex conditions like Lyme. And it shows how powerful personal disclosures can be, especially from public figures. They can really reshape how we think about things, how we interpret what we see.
So, thinking about everything we've unpacked today, the hidden struggles, the gap between public perception and private reality, how might this change the way you, listening right now, interpret performance or struggle when you see it in the public eye from now on?
It's a good question to ponder.
Yeah. It definitely encourages us to think about transparency, empathy, and just remembering that so often we're only seeing a fraction of the real story.